In the memory of people, he remained as a noble executioner and a bloody hound. On some days, more than 100 victims happened to die of his hands. In the 16th century, even mentioning the name of Malyuta Skuratov created horror all over Russia. Grigory Lukyanovich Skuratov-Belsky, under the nickname of Malyuta, remained in the subconscious of the Russian folk as the incarnation of a heartless tyrant and murderer. However, in Russian chronicles, Skuratov-Belsky was mentioned only at a few places. History had not fixed even the date of his birth. It is only known that he came from the family of the not highly respected nobles Skuratov-Belskys. In his youth, Grigory occupied the modest position of the church sexton. His duties included ringing the bell, lighting the icon lamps in the temple, and serving during the church service. If it was not for the struggle of the Russian Tsar Ivan, named the Terrible, with rebellious boyars, Skuratov would have remained at the bottom of the church hierarchy until his death. But the Tsar, who suspected conspiracies all around, constituted the Oprichnina in Russia. And in 1565, as the Oprichnina was named, firstly, the new management system of the country, secondly, the central part of the state with its own Duma, and thirdly, the troops of the Tsarist bodyguards. The country was divided into two parts. For expenses of the Tsarist courtyard and special selected troops, the fertile lands and about 20 cities were apportioned. On the rest of the Russian territory, called Zemshchina, traditional law was substituted by the will of Ivan the Terrible. The Terrible made his instrument the 6,000 army called the Oprichniki. Among the Oprichniki was Grigory Skuratov-Belsky, who left the job of the sexton and took the name Malyuta. The Oprichniki wore black monastic uniforms. On their saddle bow, they carried a dog's head and a broom as the symbols of their determination to guard the safety of their master day and night, and to sweep away his evil enemies and to gnaw out treason. Having obtained into possession the lands taken away from the boyars, this army impunity operated in Zemshchina as if it was the territory of the enemy. But even among the ferocious Oprichniki performing the Tsarist whimsies, Malyuta Skuratov defined his utmost ruthlessness. Perhaps due to his cruelty, he became close to Ivan the Terrible, who in December 1564 founded the Oprichnina courtyard in the style of a monastery in the Alexandrovskaya settlement. The Tsar named himself the Holy Father, and Skuratov was appointed as bell ringer. Each morning at 4 o'clock, Malyuta, together with Ivan Vasilievich, went up to ring bells. Together with Skuratov, the Tsar often visited Moscow, committing tortures and executions there of horrifying nature. Innocent people were cut to pieces, stoned to death, burnt alive. Everybody was afraid to contradict the Tsar and his bloody handyman. Metropolitan Philip, who dared to raise an objection against the Oprichnina in 1566, was strangulated under the Tsar's order by Malyuta Skuratov with his own hands. Even now, debates continue about the role the Oprichnik Malyuta Skuratov played in forming the character of Ivan the Terrible. In the opinion of the Russian historian Kostomarov, Malyuta, who was among the Tsar's favorites, provoked the wild passions of the Terrible and hummed him about autocratic virtue, and exactly upon their urging, the Tsar began to rage. But Malyuta became the Tsarist advisor in the debauchery and evil deeds. Together with the Oprichniki, he raided the houses of the boyars, military commanders, and deacons, taking from them their wives and daughters for fun of the Tsar and his court. But the height of cruelty of Malyuta Skuratov was on view in 1570 during the massacres in Tver, Torsok, and Novgorod. Suspecting that the people of Novgorod had intentions to support the Lithuanian rule, the Oprichniki, headed by Malyuta Skuratov, for 6 weeks, as was described in Novgorod Chronicle, were burning ones with fire, tearing others with pincers, dragging and throwing the bodies of the murdered into the river Volhov. Perhaps after that, the Tsar entered Skuratov-Belsky into the Boyar Duma. In the Chronicle of 1572, it was mentioned that Skuratov was close to the Tsar, participated in diplomatic negotiations with Crimea and Lithuania. He was appointed as a courtyard military chief that appeared the top of his career. But soon after the massacre in Novgorod began mass executions of the Oprichniki themselves. Only Malyuta Skuratov and the guard of Tsar's rooms and robes, Dmitry Gorinov, escaped death. On political considerations, Malyuta had married off his daughter to Dmitry Gorinov's nephew Boris, who soon became the Tsar's brother-in-law, and after 3 decades ascended to Russian throne. The most known Oprichnik perished on January 1st of 1573 during the war against Livon Order while storming the fortress Wittgenstein. Under the order of the Tsar, the body of Malyuta Skuratov was taken to Joseph Volokolamsky Priory, and as a unique fact at that time, a life pension was given to his widow. The death of Skuratov coincided with the abolition of the Oprichnina, and the mass executions gradually stopped, together with the terror.